I'm your favorite guy, Harry.
And I'm your favorite big old soft squishy Richard.
Yep. Get it in that hole one way or the other. That's what we do. Get it in the hole.
Shaving in there, by God.
Yep. And now that we got that out of the way, we're Dead Decks.
Yeah, obviously.
With an E, not an I.
Dead Decks. Yeah, buddy. All right, buddy. Yeah.
I can do 2 minutes of anything.
Can you?
No. Dead Decks.
Well, probably with an I too. The way I just described it.
I'll stick to it.
We'll make this shit work, honey. Just hang in there.
Anyway, today we're redoing videos. That's the whole day today. We're redoing all the videos from the last time we got together. We didn't realize till we got to editing that the mic wasn't on, so we had no audio. So
You looked this time, right?
I did look this time.
Okay, it's on. All right, good.
If for whatever reason it is not on, you won't see this, and we'll never see any of this done again. We're just gonna quit.
Fuck these videos.
Yeah, we're just gonna retire because we do this way too often. We spend a considerable amount of time
Oh, Jesus.
redoing videos.
How many times we've reshot stuff? We reshot a whole day one time.
Yes, we did. All right, so now that everybody knows we're professionals and we know what we're doing.
We're doing a magazine. I don't know what to call it. Any review.
Now we're just.
More of an interesting shit out of a single issue of a magazine. How about that?
It's called "You Want Content, We Give You Content."
Yeah, it's soft and squishy content that we're jamming in there, but by God, it's content.
We're getting it in the hole. That's all that matters in the end.
This is a July-August 95 issue of Conjure magazine. This one wasn't around too terribly long. One of those that jumped in on the big CCG craze, but I like it. I like the quality of the articles and the magazine itself. I tend to like the more obscure ones. I'm drawn to reading those more than I am even Scry and definitely Inquest. But
yeah.
Anyway, we pulled out some shit from here that we thought was interesting.
Yeah,
for various reasons.
Grain of salt. I mean, interesting. It's to us.
Yeah, to us. I mean, you're gone already. So
yeah.
What the fuck do you care?
We get 2 minutes in, and it's gonna be a 10-minute video. You're practically all gone.
Towards the beginning of the magazine, they got a top 10 card games list. It's hilarious for a couple of reasons. I mean, this was mid 95. Went to print in July 95. So, how many were there? 13?
Yeah.
they did a top 10.
Yeah, the glut hadn't even really expanded yet.
No, a lot of the things were late 95 were coming out. So, I don't know what the fuck they were doing. But given that there weren't that many games out there anyway. Of course, Magic's number 1. Rage was their number 2. It's an interesting choice. Blood Wars number 3. Star Trek Next Gen, so Decipher Star Trek was number 4, and Sim City was number 5. I'm pretty sure July of 95 is the last time Sim City ever made the top 5.
Yeah, if anything.
Top 5 pieces of shit.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I ain't reading off the whole top 10, but the top 5 is pretty.
You can go buy your own magazine, do your own readings.
Yeah, I don't need to read to you. I'm not my fucking child.
No.
Bedtime stories. Although, no offense for you, we know you like to read the whole damn issue of a magazine.
We ain't got that in us.
We're way too lazy for that.
Yeah.
TSR blasting into cyberspace is pretty entertaining. It's talking about AOL and how TSR has an AOL presence.
Then you also have back then it would have been floppy disks. You also have any of those floating around? Did you make a collection of floppy disks?
Yeah.
And then later CDs? Do you swim in them every day?
Yeah, you can come swim in my floppy disk. That's the running theme of the video.
It is, isn't it?
So blasting into that cyberspace and then followed by AOL is pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was intriguing. Interesting, whatever. They said they had 300 games at one time running on there.
And back then, bandwidth-wise, that'd been pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're all on a 300 baud modem.
Yeah, well, it'd have been pretty close to that in 95. 2400 maybe would be standard back at that point.
Ooh, blazing fast.
Yeah.
It's back when it only took 3 days to download an MP3.
Yeah, and about an hour to get a picture.
So
I know, I tried to look at porn back then. I was already done 4 or 5 times for the picture download.
Fucked up the keyboard.
I saw her chin and I was done.
Oh, fuck, that's the greatest chin.
Look at that dimple.
God damn it. Time to go play. Time to go play on AOL again. Fuck shit, that's funny. Page. So some of these I realized later. I'm looking at the script I made last time. Some of this shit I'm kind of dumb for even putting down. But there's an article about Wildstorms. It's a pretty deep gameplay walkthrough. I don't know shit about Wildstorm, so I'm just putting this here as a reminder to myself. There's an article I'd like to read at some point.
Is it Wild Storms or Wildstorm?
I'm pretty sure it's plural.
So more than one storms?
Yeah, multiple storms.
All kinds of storms.
And according to this chick here, let's see, she got a storm brewing.
Yeah. Storm camel toes.
That sounds
That's raining motherfuckers.
That's like a powerful move. I love raining motherfuckers. The storm of camel toes. That'd be banned or restricted one. That sounds vicious. Overpower also had a detailed gameplay. Well, all kinds of shit. Not just gameplay, but history. And there's a great article in there, too. But that's another one where I just wrote down, that was cool. And I didn't write down anything specific about it.
It was cool. Moving on.
Guardians has announced that it's going to be coming out soon. Guardians by FPG. The interesting thing from that, I did write down, that they had over 5,000 hours of playtesting.
That's very impressive, especially for this era. And of course, by the end of it, 1995, they were playtesting about 13 minutes.
Yeah, no shit.
Because they had to get that shit out the door.
Well, 5,000 hours, that had to be a lot of fucking people. Because mid-95, when they start playtesting in 79?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus. Well, you know, it's funny, too. Anybody that's watched this enough, I've mentioned it before, I think. I've got a letter that was sent from Luke Peterschmidt to a playtester that we later found out was a guy who's even pictured on one of the classic Guardians cards. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there must have been a lot of that going on with those guys. 5,000 hours. I think it said over 70 plus playtesters. So it was a lot of motherfuckers.
Yeah. That's impressive.
There's another in-depth article on Towers in Time, which is as in-depth as you can be. Thunder Castle Games, they're the makers of Highlander and Towers in Time. Mm-hmm. They mentioned they have a tournament league.
They were terminated.
Terminal league. Where all the games go to die. They mentioned having a point ranking. You could theoretically have points in both Towers in Time and Highlander. Yeah, I'm sure somebody had that shit.
Yeah, probably so.
Fucking tournament league. I know that Highlander did have some tournament play.
Yeah.
I doubt Towers in Time ever had shit, but who knows. There's an interview with Doug Schuler, who's a famous artist, and he did art for just about everything. Certainly at this point, he'd almost literally done art for everything that had come out at the time.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned that before, too, that artists were in short supply, especially in this era.
Oh, yeah.
So, artists were on almost every game that came out. Schuler and Mark Poole and Susan Van Camp and a lot of early Magic artists. They were whoring themselves out to everybody.
Hell yeah.
And it's pretty cool that they were allowed to do that. That somebody didn't lock them in on a contract or something. So that's cool.
What's let's see. I think they generally agree upon numbers about 40 games in 95. So we were talking 200 to 300, 400 cards in a set.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 250 a set. Math's hard.
Yeah,
40 games and 200. Say
that's up there.
That's a lot of pieces of art. That's what I'm saying.
That's up in the dozens at least.
For 1 year, they had to find a lot of art.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of the games that they just borrowed art that was already done. Hyborian Gates was one of those. They just went and grabbed art.
That's how you do that shit.
We ain't got time to make new shit.
Mm-hmm.
Bug
them. So the main reason I even grabbed this specific issue at all was because of the Chrysalis review. So Chrysalis is one of those games, if you don't remember, that never made it to production. But it did make it far enough to have cards sent to people, and people participated in playing. They had prototype cards. The only cards that ever got made were a few promos, I think maybe 5. I own one of them.
I'm saying that, like in the first video, I think we actually showed that. But I don't know where it's at now.
Yeah,
so
I don't know where I said it.
We ain't going to show it this time.
No, I'll probably put it up somewhere. But it's a pretty cool looking game. It's a comic book looking game. I don't think... No, it was based on an actual comic book series. It wasn't just made up. It wasn't like the game that Super Deck. It wasn't generic, made up comic book art. Anyway, the reviewer here actually says it looks great, and he was excited for the game. Even though he was skeptical at first, he thought it was going to be great. So, most of the games that didn't get published, I don't think they ever made it this far. where they're actually played and talked about. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Doom Trooper Inquisition. It's fucking really hard for me to say for some reason. They had an advertisement that mentioned they have signature inserts, which made me realize I may have one. I bought a bulk set, just some loose cards, and had a signature on one of them. I later found out they had signature chase cards. So,
Yeah, and it's one of those things that it probably is real because nobody's going back and signing that shit. I mean, even back then, I don't think anybody would have been trying to forge that crap.
then you're going to fake it and shove it in the middle of a bunch of commons and sell it to me for nothing.
Yeah. Well, just, I mean, this back then, I mean, I don't think it would ever be anything that would have been forged or counterfeited. So it very likely is one of those pulled ones.
Yeah, and I don't know if it said the rarity on those. I don't believe it did.
1,000? That's what it said.
Randomly inserted card signed by some of top Doom Trooper artists. That's all it says.
Oh, okay. But they printed the absolute shit out of Inquisition, so.
Oh, yeah, that one is still by far the cheapest of all the Doom Trooper sets.
Yeah.
Who knows? It might actually mean, though, because that looked like a legit signature.
Yeah.
That's not a stamp or anything. Somebody signed that. So
yeah.
it probably means they're really fucking rare.
Oh, I'd say they're really rare.
So I may have something valuable, but whatever.
Well,
yeah.
rare and valuable,
Yeah, we know
doesn't mean the same thing.
Those don't correlate.
No, not all the time.
A couple more, and I'll try to shut the fuck up. There's an interesting article in here about Magic, the investment, its pros and cons of investing. So, of course, that reeks of making me think of Rudy. And
yeah,
they were talking about that even halfway through the glut. What do they think about it, and should they really be investing? And of course, most of the time when you read this kind of shit in magazines, I think the general consensus is no, they're evil.
Yeah.
But it's just such a short-sighted view.
Yeah, for one, it's short-sighted, but back then, Magic hadn't been around long enough to even necessarily be considered an investable commodity. I don't know that would have been a common theme, even among players. Now, there's certain cards, I'm sure, Black Lotus and just Power 9 in general. Yeah, I'm sure people were at least starting to hoard at that point as new sets came out and they realized how incredibly powerful those cards were. And that they were never going to be reprinted because Unlimited, all that came out in the first year. So
yeah,
that'd be your only real thoughts of investment would be cards like that back then. And investing in, I mean, what are they thinking? 10 years be worth $800 or something?
Yeah.
I don't think they were really thinking of that as a serious investment.
There's an interesting little thing. I think you had said when I mentioned this the first time on the video we fucked up that you've heard of something like this. There's a point system laid out for how you can assign points to all the Magic cards, and so you can see if decks are equivalent. So basically, power cards have a high number. You have a lot of them in a deck. You can't play with somebody who's playing an all-common deck. So did you say you had heard of that?
Yeah, and I don't remember where in what context. It wasn't in Magic, but it was something else that I mentioned that. I don't know.
Yeah, very intriguing concept. Of course, this was when Magic had a few sets out.
Yeah. Well, you can still do
Try
it
to do
today,
it now.
It'd be really hard.
Well, I think it'd be damn near arbitrary.
Yeah.
Because you get into all the crazy combos that exist now and
That's
shit.
true. It would be arbitrary. Yeah, you have to a pretty small pool to make that work.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I can see it applying that to some games. I'd never have the energy to do it. But.
Yeah.
What else? A couple other things. I don't know why the fuck I wrote this down. There's a few pages of StarQuest fan fiction.
Woo boy!
I can't imagine anything anybody's going to give a fuck less about. That is a game I want to play, and I do own some of. But
that's the Margaret Weiss, right? StarQuest?
Yes, that is correct. That is the Margaret Weiss based game, based on her novels. Yeah. Or no, it's not. I agreed with you and I was wrong.
Sorry, Guardians is hers.
There you go. That's the Margaret.
Those two games always get me confused. I always get them backwards.
Yeah, StarQuest is the original science fiction property. Yeah. Close.
Yeah, whatever.
The last thing.
Nobody's fucking watching, so it doesn't matter.
Last thing that's fucking dumb. No wonder they ain't watching. There's some Wyvern 3-player rules in here if you want to know. There you go. Nothing cool to say about them, just they're there. So, in general, I think Conjure is a good magazine, and this would be more interesting if you had it in your hands.
Instead of ours.
As opposed to me saying, page 69's cool. I got a big flaccid penis. Go read this magazine.
We'll stick it in a hole, don't worry. We'll get it in there.
I fucking jammed it in there. It hurt the whole time, dude. Fuck, how'd I do then?
Good enough.
I wish I'd fuck off, buddy, yeah.